exception. We are not talking about essential services. This is where you have to do something more than just being compliant. Yeah? And here you have to understand and define what am I thinking of, what am I talking about. When we do the method tomorrow, you will have this exercise and really will be invited to define the scope, to define the context, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so it will be more clear. So, but these are the questions. Yeah? What component am I talking about? What, when, who, where, and so on and so forth. Yeah? And there is the notion of navigation services. I don't have to go too much in detail, but this is where the ASBOs are focusing on. And so this is where the links are. Top level ANS, and then you have all the various services you provide, and then you have the regulatory. So. And here are the so-called threats. Yeah? The ATM system block upgrade threats. And these threats were under continuous evolvement. So this is the last iteration, and if you go into detail, and you do not have to do that. Yeah? You do not have to do that as a group. But for example, if you look at TBO is a huge thing. This is really, it's really high potential. Many things have been changed from the previous edition, 5th to the 6th edition, and for example, many things from communication were taken to TBO. So things were regrouped, yeah? Were regrouped because on the way of implementation, wherever it happens, people learned. And they understood, I would have need this element or this enabler more allocated here than there, or this specific thing should be more part of this instead of that. So, yeah, and this is already under continuous evolution. Yeah? So this is a very dynamic part. And therefore, do not go into it and learn it by heart forever. The next time you look it up, it could have been changed. Do you agree? Okay. Yeah, okay. And it's funny, if you look at it, it's so fast that even the quality check is not appropriate. So you, as I said, you find typos, you find whatever, because it's really, they try to take on board many things. So these are the 22 ASBO threats. Are you familiar with them? Yeah?
We are familiar with some of them. Well, each of us are responsible for some of them.
Okay.
Each people familiar with one threat, one
Yeah,
or more.
one or two elements.
Threats.
Like a Mr. Kung familiar with COM-I or COM-S.
Communication infrastructure,
Yeah.
very important. You were talking about VHF, right?
Mr. Kung.
The VHF, and you want to do more. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Swim.
Yeah, Mr. V.
So these are the threats the government is organized in. So the threats have been grouped into 3 groups. I would call them threat groups. If you go back in time, all these things were called elements, and there were only 3 threats. Yeah.
Yes.
I think 2nd or 3rd edition. And now it has been changed. So, you see, and therefore there is always a misunderstanding, right? So they're really easy, just look it up. But the good thing is, these threats, these various threats have been organized. So this is CNS technology, right? So it's very clear. When we talk about APTA, cooperative separation, network operations, whatever, it's operations, right? You know the area, yeah? And here we have the information area. Okay? So when you talk about roles and responsibilities, when you talk about a collaborative approach, you may have an understanding, how's my organization organized, to whom shall I talk to, who should be involved. And the good thing is, and this is what we do in Germany, and this is a European approach, is this gate-to-gate thing. If we do something gate-to-gate, we have an idea where to look at. Okay. Sorry, I went into the picture. So this is the way the threads are organized into 3 groups. Yeah? So within each ASPO thread, there is a series of concept of operations. I think you have looked that up already. And this is just an example. Well, this is all, it should call DATS. Yeah? Since we're about in this function. This is called DATS. Digital Air Traffic Services. It's not no longer called HATS. It's not remote. It's called DATS. Small mistake. Yeah. Now, I could say it's a check whether someone of you would have.
That's
It's DATS. Okay. And this is very easy. Yeah. There's a baseline. It's baseline. Again, terminology, a bit difficult. Yeah. Aerodrome ATS are provided by an on-site tower. This is an essential service, right? Don't get confused about this term baseline. And then there's just a block 1. There's no block 3, there's no block 0, there's nothing, there's just a block 1. And it says, aerodrome ATS may or will be provided from a facility other than an on-site tower. Yeah. So this is the way it's built. This is a very simple example. We will go into it more in detail when we do the deep dive, right? When we do the deep dive, we go more into the detail and understand what are the enablers, what are contributing factors, and so on and so forth. What are dependencies, needs, so we go into this maybe already tomorrow or after tomorrow, depending on how interested you are. So just to understand, for every block, this could be block 0, or in this system is essential. For every block, there is a small concept of operations. Yeah, sometimes it's like this, sometimes it's just a set. Yeah. So, the concepts are normally composed of one or more elements. So we do have thread groups, we do have threads, yeah, and we do have elements. So the ASPO thread is called ACDM, for example. Yeah. This is the name of the thread. And then we have the element ACDM block 0/1. So the block 0 is divided into 2. And we have the next ASPO element, block 0, step 2. So this is the way it's organized, yeah? And the challenge now is, and we will do that in an exercise, the challenge now is to understand what is my problem, what is my need, or my deficiency, yeah, however you want to call it. And then you go into it. Please first check that you have implemented all mandatory standards. Now from, let's say, ICAO, all the annexes, the standards from the annexes. And then you would define a baseline from which you start. Yeah? And every block, and we only talk about 4 blocks, so you won't find anyone who is inviting you to define block 5 or 6. That's always 4 blocks. Yeah? And here it says every block lasts 6 years. Your region is talking about 5 years. Yeah? Let's look up the plan, but it doesn't matter. Yeah? Actually, it doesn't matter. I would say it doesn't matter. When your region agrees on 5 years or on 7 years, be it. Yeah? The idea is just to plan things time-bounded. Yeah? So this is the idea of ICAO at global level. Yeah? We remember the first edition, 2013, to be published 2014. Yeah? And every 6 years, yeah, if you follow down this road, this conceptual road, at the latest, every 6 years you should have implemented various elements, performance-based elements of block, blah, 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 blah. Yeah? If you want to go there. But again, it's not mandatory.
But one question.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see that all the annexes and the docs are like review or upgrades for after some years. So is there any is there any case that some element or some requirement in the block zero after some year will become the baseline in the DBB? It will be. Right?
This is what we discussed before. This would be the natural evolvement, right? Natural evolution. Yeah. In 10 years from now, things we today say are innovative will be part of a mandatory standard, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
So it's a continuous process and it's a continuous evolution of things. But for today, or let's say from here it says, this is new. Maybe somewhere implemented. Yeah. I could take an example, but it's new. From here, it's innovation. Almost nowhere implemented. It's under development. But I think there's potential and I should follow up and I will participate in that. Therefore, I commit to block one together with my partners and so on. Yeah. And this is maturity level. Yeah. So if you go for block 4, in 2014, people believe that we will be able to drive this innovation and to have it implemented successfully performance-based in 2037. And therefore, if you go into plans, if you go into national plans or regional plans volume 3, you won't find block 4. Even if you go to next gen, sometimes, in terms of vision, but you will always deal with block 1, block 2 maybe. Okay. So when we go into the ASPO elements, ASPO thread, ASPO elements, it's a lot of stuff I know. If you go into the elements, we will find lots of information. Yeah. There will be a functional description. There will be functional description. There will be enablers. Yeah. Enablers could also be elements from other threads. Wonderful. Okay. You will have the deployment applicability and the performance impact assessment. All about performance.
About the enablers, I think that for each element in the Excel graph model, for example, it will have dependency and relations. It will describe the relation between enabler and the elements, right? But there are some they say relation operational need and relation operational option. So what's the difference?
Operational
option.
Option.
Yeah. So what's the difference between the need and the option? Like, what is the mandatory enablers or what else? Not necessary, or we can have it or not. It doesn't matter.
It's always about performance impact. Yeah. And you have to define your needs, right? An option is always something you could go about in order to accommodate the need. But it does not necessarily mean that you will achieve the impact you are aiming at. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
So
when we talk about the 6 steps method, we will come to needs. Okay? It's a bit confusing, isn't it? Okay. This is a dependency graph. It was a real one. Yeah. It was a real example. And of course it tells you nothing. Yeah, you could go in here. It's navigation B04 is very much dependent on, so the figures are right. Yeah, when you get the presentation, you can look at it. Someone did the work and figured this all out. Yeah? But the point is just, it's a complex task. It's very complex. and therefore you cannot do it alone. You cannot do it alone. It will be already complex at, maybe not, at DFS. At DFS, it was already very complex to organize ourselves. Then you have to talk, and as you put it, or you put it, yeah, there are airport authorities, right? You have to talk to. Then you have to talk to your competent authority, or national supervisory authority, how you call it. You have to talk to airspace users, maybe IATA or maybe others, or airlines directly.
So, can we have the dependency graph in detail or where? I need the picture.
Em có rồi.
You want to have it?
Có rồi có.
Chi tiết này.
Vâng.
Sorry, I didn't
I mean, I need the picture in detail.
You will get it.
In the photo. In the
In the photo,
You can
có
also access it within the GAM portal, so it's accessible.
đây đây đây.
Trên bắt đầu nó có hình này luôn.
It's all there. You know, I think we go to the GAM portal. This is just an idea of how ASBO is organized. Let's go to the GAM portal. Let's see whether this works here. Give it a chance. So where is this one? Oh, this is beautiful. Here is the GAM portal. Okay, so we were talking about the strategic level. This is the strategy we talked about, right? Here is the technical level, and here is what we were talking about: basic building blocks, ASBO's performance framework. Yeah. So, do you want to see what now? Oops.
No internet.
Das ist natürlich offen und privat. Eigentlich nicht.
Weil wir keine Videos abspielst.
Ja.
Nhưng đang phải làm cái này.
Cái tài khoản này là tài khoản này theo tôi.
Ngồi bỏ tay. Chứ mình phụ thuộc các cái nhau. Các cái mình
Có gia đình xin